Adrian Newey's departure from Red Bull has been a roller coaster for the fans of the Milton Keynes squad, and with it, it brought a lot of speculation about where the famous engineer will end up next. At the media day in Imola, Newey has revealed his next move, and it is sure to stir up even more speculations about his future, because it was a surprising one to say the least. After an immensely successful 18-year tenure at Red Bull, where he designed the cars that led Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen to multiple world championships, Newey is set to depart Red Bull. Amid political unrest at Red Bull, a dismissed investigation into Christian Horner, and a whole host of other reasons, Newey has decided to leave the Milton Keynes-based team to focus on completing the RB17 hypercar, which will be showcased at the Goodwood Festival of Speed in July. Newey, who has been heavily linked to a role at Ferrari as teams prepare for the crucial 2026 regulation changes, has negotiated a deal allowing him to join a rival outfit in March 2025. So where could Newey end up? The news of his departure unfolded gradually ahead of the previous F1 race in Miami, culminating in its formal confirmation on May 1st. Coincidentally, the 30th anniversary of Ayrton Senna's fatal crash at Imola while driving a Williams designed by Newey. While Red Bull had initially aimed to avoid announcing the news on that particular date, recognizing its significance to Newey, the announcement was expedited due to widespread prior reporting of his impending departure. During a conversation with his friend and manager Eddie Jordan at an event hosted by Oyster Yachts during the historic Monaco Grand Prix last weekend, Newey veered away from addressing a question about the accolades bestowed upon him by incoming Ferrari driver Lewis Hamilton, amid speculation suggesting Ferrari as a potential destination for Newey as well. If you'd asked me 15 years ago at the age of 65, would I seriously be considering changing teams, going somewhere else and doing another 4 or 5 years, I'd have said you're absolutely mad, Newey said. But he then explained that he saw how his own father lost his mojo a bit when retiring at the same age that Newey is now. He also took inspiration and advice from former F1 Supreme Bernie Ecclestone, who is still very active into his 90s, and IndyCar owner Roger Penske, who is the most powerful figure in American racing at the age of 87. This is a powerful statement because it's very important to rediscover yourself after retiring, and many people cannot do that. Adrian Newey's situation may seem vastly different from other people though, given his stature in the world of motorsport, but the essence of needing time to refresh and explore new avenues remains universal. While Newey may not need to embark on a complete career shift like you did, he likely does need a period of relaxation and rejuvenation after his intense years at Red Bull. As for the offer from Ferrari, it's an intriguing possibility. With the 2027 or 2028 timeline aligning with the new regulations, it could be the perfect opportunity for Newey to observe the changes in action and assess potential strategies. Regardless of who's driving for Ferrari at that time, witnessing Newey close out his career with the iconic team would undoubtedly be captivating. Newey then continued, I asked them both, what's your secret? Because they've kept going, and for their age, they're phenomenally mentally agile and physically agile, Newey revealed. They both said that old thing that the brain is like a muscle, it needs exercise, and so you need to keep doing that. Also, I've wanted to work in motor racing as a designer since I was the age of 8 or 10. I've been lucky enough to fulfill that ambition, to have got that first job and been in motor racing ever since. So every day has just been a bonus really. I just love what I do. I guess I'll have a bit of a holiday. I feel a little bit tired at the moment, but at some point I'll probably go again. Newey has previously expressed his desire to collaborate with legendary drivers like Alonso and Hamilton, particularly within the context of Ferrari. Aston Martin has reportedly extended an offer to him, coinciding with Hamilton's anticipated move to Ferrari. Considering the market's response to Ferrari's increased value upon signing Hamilton, Newey's potential joining could similarly boost Ferrari's standing, especially if there's a mention of his involvement in road car projects in the press release. This scenario sets the stage for a significant payday for Newey. However, the decision goes beyond financial gains. While Aston Martin may offer him greater autonomy, the allure of Maranello's legacy and the potential for creative freedom could tilt the scales towards Ferrari. Transitioning from Milton Keynes to Maranello presents a more culturally rich change than a move to Northampton, despite Aston Martin's appeal. On one side, it is easy to think that Newey's exit from Red Bull is a seismic event for the squad that has benefited so much from his design efforts. Having been involved throughout all of Red Bull's glory years and clearly remaining hugely influential in helping guide the team about what it should and shouldn't do with its 2022 ground effect concept from the off, it would be foolish to think that losing him is something that can be simply brushed off as run-of-the-mill. While Newey was not full-time on its F1 efforts, contracted to just 150 days per year for all his Milton Keynes projects as part of his Chief Technical Officer role, he was able to have a global view over everything, offering guidance in critical areas and steadying the ship in times of trouble. There is certainly no doubt that Newey's lessons from the previous ground effect era, where he discovered the risks of porpoising, were influential in getting Red Bull off on the right foot when it came to ensuring it didn't go down the route that many other teams initially did in 2022, of having a flexible floor that they believed would better seal airflow and deliver even more downforce. Newey knew that due to the bouncing phenomenon, this was a no-go, and making sure the floor was super stiff and the ride control clinically managed was a much better direction to head in. 3 years into the new rule set, his advice has proven to be spot on. But equally, it would be wrong to suggest that all of Red Bull's success in the current rules era is down to Newey. In technical director Pierre Vacher, Red Bull has perhaps one of the best under-the-radar tech chiefs in the pit lane, as he is someone who generally stays away from the media spotlight. The Frenchman just quietly gets on with it, diligently working away in the garages, but often seen sharing paddock conversations as he pops out the back for a drag on his vape. It is hard to be definitive in judging the scale of the blow that Red Bull will face from Newey's departure right now, and it may even be a few years before we get our answer. The current RB20 platform looks strong enough to carry momentum through static regulations into 2025, but there is the looming challenge of the all-new rules in 2026 that are fast approaching and will put huge demands on Red Bull's current technical team. Could Newey's exit also be the trigger for a wider exodus that further shakes things up? Could it influence Max Verstappen's future? Could it make other senior Red Bull staff feel that now is the right time for them to seek opportunities elsewhere? Judging Newey's influence is also not just about Red Bull, because there is the knock-on effect of what he does next having an impact. It's one thing Red Bull losing Newey and him heading off to sail a yacht around the world. It's another having one of Red Bull's chief rivals grabbing him and benefiting from all his brilliance. All indications point to him wanting to take some time to decide where he goes. And while Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur is understood to have had face-to-face talks with him, it does not look like a deal is done yet. In public, Red Bull is guaranteed to put a brave face on things and insist this is the right time for Newey to go, as the relationship had naturally reached its end and the organization is strong enough to cope without him. Indeed, its success is almost sure to continue with the RB20, and its tech team is strong enough to follow things through with its RB2021 for 2025. So the reality is that the verdict on fatal blow or flesh wound will not really be known until the start of 2026, and then much will depend on what Newey does next. Where do you think Newey will end up, since he probably won't be retiring? Let us know down in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.